Now you guys can see why it's taken me so long to cover any sniper rifles. It had to happen eventually though. We're going to be taking a look at all of the parts that can spawn on a Jakobs Sniper Rifle. Strictly non-uniques and non-legendaries, but the legendaries and uniques can have most of these parts. We're going to start off by taking a look at the body, which will be the same on all Jakobs Sniper Rifles. This is the body here. It's a little zoomed out in the Parts Inspector tab, so here's a better view of it. It can spawn with 3 accessories. Now these are all pretty zoomed out views, so I will show the Parts Inspector tab first and then give you a better view. This one will give you a 10% damage increase. The second one here will give you a 10% fire rate bonus. And the third body accessory will decrease your reload time by 10%. Next, we'll take a look at the 3 barrels. The barrels will determine the base stats of each gun and give each gun their name. The barrels themselves are the Callipeen barrel, the Cheechako barrel, and the Muckamuck barrel. Each has a set of accessories that will be unique to that specific barrel. We'll take a look at the Callipeen barrel first. This one will have the second highest base damage of the 3. This is what the barrel looks like, and it can spawn with up to 3 accessories. The first accessory will provide an accuracy bonus of 15%. The second is a melee attachment that will increase your melee damage by 80% and increase your damage by 10%. And the last accessory will decrease your weapon sway by 20% and provide a 15% accuracy bonus. One quick note here, the double weapon sway you're seeing is likely just a visual bug, and it only applies once. Any part with weapon sway will look like this. Next, we're going to take a look at the Cheechako barrel. This barrel will have the lowest base damage of the 3. This is the barrel here, and like the Callipeen, it can also spawn with 3 accessories. The first accessory will increase your fire rate by 10%. The second one will also increase it by 10%. And the third and final Cheechako accessory will decrease your weapon sway by 20% and decrease both your recoil height and recoil width by 25%. Lastly, we have the Muckamuck barrel, which has the highest base damage of all 3 Jakobs snipers. Here's the barrel, and it may or may not surprise you that this can also spawn with 3 accessories. The first will increase your critical hit damage by 10%. This one will also increase your crit damage by 10%. And this third accessory will increase your damage by 10%. That'll do it for the barrels, and now we're going to take a look at the bolts. The bolts are actually what will dictate the fire rate for Jakobs Sniper Rifles, whereas with most other guns, the barrels would. And it's hard to give exact numbers on what the fire rates are set to because they will depend on the rarity of the gun. So if you have a purple gun and a green gun with the same bolt, the purple one would have the faster base fire rate before accessories are taken into account. Let's take a look at this first one. This one will increase your damage by 25%. It also has the slowest fire rate, which we'll call the base fire rate. And here's a better view of it. This is the second bolt here, which provides a 10% damage increase. The fire rate of this will be about 5% faster than the base fire rate from the 25% damage bolt. Again, here's a better view. And this is the third bolt here, which doesn't impact the damage in any way, but the fire rate for this bolt will be about 25% faster than the base fire rate. Here's a view up close. Next, we'll take a look at the 5 foregrips. The first will increase your critical hit damage by 10%. The second one will decrease your recoil height by 30% and provide a 10% accuracy bonus. The third one here will decrease your recoil width by 15% and decrease your recoil height by 30%. The fourth will improve both your reload time and your fire rate by 5%. And the final foregrip will decrease your weapon sway by 30% and increase your damage by 5%. Now we'll take a look at the magazines. The text is actually bugged on these in the parts inspector because as you can see here, it says this is an 8-round mag, and as we'll see, all 3 of them say they are 8-round mags. However, if you look at the gun card for this gun, you'll see it says the mag size is 4. So this is the 4 mag. It will increase your damage by 10%. This magazine will also set your base reload speed to 3.4 seconds. This second one is also made of lies. This is the 6-round magazine, which won't impact your damage in any way. This one will set your base reload speed to 3.5 seconds. Now this is a little misleading because your reload time is actually going to depend on how many bullets you have shot, because you reload this mag 1 bullet at a time. So more bullets to reload means a longer reload time. And the last one here actually has 8 rounds in it, and it will decrease your damage by 10%. It will also set your reload speed to 4 seconds. Next, we're going to take a look at the 5 stocks, and with each stock comes a unique accessory. The first is going to decrease your accuracy bloom by 20% and increase your critical damage by 10%. This one has an accessory that will decrease your recoil height by 15%. The next stock will decrease your accuracy bloom by 20% and increase your magazine size by 10%. It can spawn with an accessory that will decrease your weapon sway by 30%. The next stock will decrease your recoil width by 30% and provide a 5% damage increase. This one can spawn with an accessory that will further increase your damage by 5%. The fourth stock will decrease your reload time by 5% and provide a 20% accuracy bonus. The accessory for this stock will decrease your reload time by another 5%. And the last stock will decrease your weapon sway by 30% and decrease your recoil height by 15%. The accessory it can spawn with will increase your fire rate by 5%. That is it for the somewhat complicated stocks. Now things aren't going to get much simpler here with the scopes. There are only 3, but sniper rifle scopes in this game can spawn with up to 2 accessories which will be unique to each scope. The first scope will increase your zoom by 4.8 times. The first accessory will increase your fire rate by 5%, and it will change your zoom to 5.1 times. The second accessory for this scope will reduce both your recoil height and recoil width by 25%. The second scope here will provide 5.3 times zoom. This scope can spawn with one accessory that will increase your critical hit damage by 10%, and a second that doesn't have a listed bonus in the parts inspector, but will increase your zoom to 6 times. The last scope here will give you 5.7 times zoom. The first accessory for this one will give you a 20% accuracy bonus. The second has no listed bonus, but will set your zoom to 6.5 times. So there are a fair amount of parts here, and I made this table to help you guys keep track of everything. If you'd like to see this and information for other weapons, there will be a spreadsheet linked in the description. That's going to do it for Jakobs Snipers, guys. See ya.